Hello and welcome to the third video of our WordPress plugin development. In this lesson we're going to be looking at how to add a menu, submenu and setting links to our plugin. In this video our big aim is to create a simple plugin with a menu page, a submenu page and a setting link. By the end of the video we should be able to understand the role that capabilities play in WordPress. We should be able to use both variables and arrays in WordPress developments, and you should be able to create a admin menu page, a sub menu page, as well as a setting link. Okay, so let's get started by looking at the main WordPress functions for making our menu pages. I think the best way to do this is to start by using our admin dashboard as an example. So if we wanted to create the user main menu page, we would have to use the add menu page function. As you can see, there are a number of parameters that we need to add to make this function work. The first one is page title. This is what will be displayed in your browser address bar when you click on the menu page. Number two, the menu title. This is the text that will appear on the menu. The third one is the capabilities. This is the access right that the function has. This allows us to give permission to the functions to do all sorts of things in WordPress. We'll be talking about the different capabilities that we can assign a function later on. The menu slug. This is a unique name for our menu page. This is the name that WordPress will use to identify the main page. The function. This is a link to a function that we will create later. This function will tell WordPress what will be on the main page. The icon. If you can see here, these main page all have an icon. This is what links those icons to the page. We will be going through where we can find different icons to attach to our function. And the last one, position. This tells us which position we want our new main menu to be in. Now if you look here, we have our main menu, but we also have some sub-menus. To add a sub-menu, we use the add submenu page function. Again, it's very simple, similar to the first one, but there is a few differences. So the first one is the parent slug. This needs to match up to the menu slug. Remember, the menu slug is the unique name that we assign our main menu page. And if we link them up, then we can add them to it like this. Again, we continue with this page title, which will be the same, the menu title, which is the same, capabilities is the same, the menu slug is again the unique name that we assign our submenu page, and then the function, which is again something that we will create later that will tell us what will be on the submenu page. Okay, so let's have a look at an example of a main page. So here we have the first thing that we need to do is call an action or add an action. Our hook is admin menu, so if we want to create a menu page, we need to attach it to the admin menu hook, and then we need to have a function. So this is the lesson 3 admin page function. In the function, we can use the WordPress function add menu page. So here we have the page title, here we have the menu title, here we have the capability, here we have the menu slug, and here we have the callable function. So before we start asking some questions on this, I would like to look at a little bit more about the capabilities and how we can find out which capabilities we should use. Okay, so when we go to this website, we go to a page called that introduces roles and capabilities in WordPress development. Each role has a number of capabilities that allows you to do things in WordPress. What we want to search is the capability manage options. So if we click down here, it tells us what it can do. So manage options allows us to access the administration screen. So what we're doing is we're allowing the plugin, or we're allowing the function to access the administration screen. So it's important that you familiarize yourself with these capabilities and these roles to get a better understanding of what capabilities we need to give a function for it to be able to do something. Okay, so now that we know where we can go to find out more about the capabilities, let's look at our code and see if we can answer some of our questions about it. So pause the video and see how many you can answer, and then in a moment we're going to go through them together to see how many answers you got right. So hopefully you paused the video. Let's go through some of the questions. So the first question, where are we hooking our action? So remember, the first parameter in our add action function, this is the hook. So the admin menu is the hook that we're using to add our code to. How many functions have we created? Well, we created 2 functions, lesson 3 admin page and menu init. What does each of them do? Well, this function connects to our hook. So what we're doing is that we're attaching this code into this step in the WordPress process. This will be attached onto the add menu page function. So this is the function that is called when this code runs. What will be displayed in our admin page? Well, if we look at the menu init, this code will be executed when this function runs. So at the moment, we're just going to have hello world on it. What is the plugin title? Well, remember the plugin title is the first parameter. So the plugin title will be lesson 3. So when you click on this menu in the website address bar, this is what will be shown. What capabilities did we add? Remember, the capabilities is the third parameter, and this is the manage options. So this capability means our function has the ability to access the administration options, which is what we need when we're going to add a menu page. Will the page have an icon? So it does not have the parameter, so we're missing a few parameters. The icon parameter is an optional one, which means that it will be default icon. What position will the menu be? Well, again, the menu parameter, the position parameter, is not located in the function, so it will be the default position, which is at the bottom of the admin dashboard. So let's have a quick look at another example and see if we can answer those questions, and then try and make our first admin page. Okay, so before we start coding, let's look at our second example. Here we have 2 functions. The first function, lesson 3, example 2, has a WordPress function called add menu page. This one is slightly different from the example 1 because it has 2 additional parameters. So remember, the first parameter talks about the page title, the second one, the menu title, the third one, the capabilities, the fourth one is talking about the menu slug, the fifth one is talking about the callable function, so it matches onto this one, and this one is talking about the icons, so it's the icon picture that we will use, and this one tells us the position. So here we've got an icon that we've chosen, and I've chosen it from this website. So if you go onto this website, there are many different types of icons you can choose for your admin menu page. So for example, if you click the icon that you like, and then you can copy this name or the name of this icon into your code. So you can just copy that directly into this parameter, and then that means that that icon will appear in your menu page. So now that we understand a little bit more about the code, let's see if we can answer the questions. So again, pause the video, and then we're going to go through them together to see if they're right. So hopefully you've paused the video, so let's go through and make sure that you've got the correct answers. So the plugin name should be Amazing Example, so remember it's the second one. What will be the page title? The page title is the first one, so when you click on your menu page, this will appear in your browser address bar. What is the callable function? The callable function is example 2, it's this parameter, it links to this one here. What position will the admin page be? Well, because we've added it, it will be in position 1, so it will be the first one on the admin dashboard. What is the capability settings? The capability settings is the manage option. What does this mean? Again, it means that it allows our function to have access to the administration settings, so it can access their dashboard menu and create a new menu page. Will the page have an icon? Yes. How do we know? Because we've added one from this website here. And what is missing from this code? Well, what we have not done is we have not added an action that links our code to our hook. Now, can you remember what hook we needed? We needed that admin menu hook to attach our code to. So let's see if we can try and make this code now and make these two examples in our WordPress website. Okay, so to make our plugin, we need to go into the files and go into the content folder and then go into our plugin folder. There we need to create a new folder. Again, we can call this whatever we want. I'm going to call it lesson 3. Let's call it admin page. In that new folder, we need to create 2 files. I'm going to take these files from another plugin just to give myself that template for that basic information. So again, the index, I can just leave it because it should have that silence is golden to stop direct access. With the main file, I need to change it to the name of my folder, which is lesson 3, admin page. I open it up and I need to change some of the information. So in the package, which tells us that all the functions and includes are linked to this plugin, they're all property of the plugin. So we need to change this to the, let's say, the admin plugin, or the lesson 3 admin page plugin. The name of the plugin, I'm going to call lesson 3 admin. I'm not going to have a URL, so I'm going to remove this. For the description, I'm going to say this is a simple plugin that has a menu and a submenu. The version, I'm going to say is 0.1. The author, I'm going to say is me, which is Nathan. I do not have a URI, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm going to keep the licensing. So if I remove the copyright at the bottom and just keep the licensing, so we can distribute if we want this plugin. Again, I'm going to keep the security code here, but remove everything else. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is add our action. So let's add our action. The hook for this is the admin menu. So this is where we're hooking our code to. We now need to create the name of our first function. So let's just call it maybe lesson 3. Okay, and now we need to create that function for lesson 3. Okay, so in that function, what we need to do is we need to add that WordPress function, which is add menu page. And now we need to add some of the parameters. So the first parameter is the page title. So let's just say lesson 3. So this will appear in the browser address link when we click on it. The second one is the text that will appear in our menu. So let's call it just main menu. The third one, again, is our capabilities. So we want to talk about our capabilities is manage options. The fourth one is the menu or the plugin slug. So this is the unique name that WordPress will be used to identify our plugin. So let's call it lesson 3 admin plugin. The next one, we need to do our function that will be called when this runs. So let's just call this menu init, and now we've created our WordPress function. So now what we need to do is we need to create our second function, which will be called menu init. And in here, we are just going to display it. We can put what we will display on that main menu. So, for example, we are just going to display the echo and hello world message. Okay, so there we have it. So that should work. So again, we have created the add action, and we've linked them up. We then created our WordPress function, which we've linked up to our second function, and we've displayed some information here that will be displayed on that main menu. So if we save it, and then we'll go to WordPress to just check it has worked. Okay, so if we go to our website now, and we click on the dashboard, and we go on to the plugins, we should be able to see the plugin that we've just created. So again, we've got the lesson 3 admin. This is a simple plugin that has a menu and submenu, and we've got the version and the author. If we activate that now, we now have our main menu plugin. So if we go back to our code, see the second parameter here is the text that is shown there. The third parameter is the capabilities. So now if we click on this here, we go and we see the hello world code that we've put in this function. Do notice that even though we haven't had the icon parameter, we've got the default one. So if we wanted to change that icon, we would have to add something there. And the position, again, the default position is at the bottom. If you wanted to change the place, you would have to add that parameter. So let's look at adding another code or another example to see if we can start adding different icons. Okay, so for our second example, we change the icon and change the positioning. So let us decide what kind of icon we want to add for this. So if we go to the developer WordPress resource page with the dash icons, and we choose the icon we want. So let's choose maybe the paintbrush, and we copy this across and we put it into the parameter. Again, it has to be in quotation marks, and we save it, and we deactivate and then reactivate the code. We can see if our icon changes. Okay, so sometimes it takes a little while to upload the new plugin. So what I've done is I've just deactivated the plugin, refreshed it, and then going to reactivate it now. And we still have our main menu. So our main menu is there, and as you can see, the plugin is different. So if we wanted to change the positioning, so instead of being at the bottom, let's see if we can put it on the top. We put the position as the last option. We save it, and again, let's deactivate the plugin, refresh it, and then reactivate it and see if our menu changes. Okay, so I've deactivated the plugin, I've refreshed it, and let's see if we can reactivate it. And as we can see now, the main menu has changed. So the main menu that we created has changed from the bottom, and now it's the first one. If we click on it, it's still the same hello world. So there we have all the different parameters we've gone through, and we've gone through how to make a menu page. Let's now look at how to make a submenu page for this main page. Okay, so we're going to look at one example for the submenu. If we look here, we have our code. You see it's very similar. We've still got the same hook. We have the function that's called. We then have the function that tells us what will be displayed in the main menu. And then we have the function that will be telling us what will be displayed in the second main menu. Within the function, we have the add submenu page WordPress function. It's very similar. So here, again, we've got the lesson 3 amazing example. Now this is the slug of the parent. So this has to match up with the parameter that we used in the add menu page that identifies this menu page. So it has to link up with the fourth option here. Again, this is the page number tool. This is the menu text that will appear on your menu. This is the capabilities. Here is the menu slug that we will create to identify this page for WordPress, and then this is the function. So see if you can answer these questions, and then we'll go through them together. So just pause the video. So hopefully you've answered all the questions. So let's look at the first question. What does the first parameter tell WordPress? Well, the first one, an add submin page, it tells us what is the parent of this function. So what is the parent of this submenu? So in this one, the parent is the lesson 3 amazing example. Why have we not added a new action? Well, we only need one action to initialize this code. So what we're just saying is both of these WordPress functions can be ran at the same time, and they both can be hooked to the same location. So we don't need to add a new action here. What are the differences? Well, the only real difference is the first value here. So remember, the first value here has to be the fourth value here. So this is the unique identifier for WordPress for this page, and this is attaching the submenu to the unique parent identifier, so the main menu here. So let's give it a try and see if we can create one in our plugin. So if we go back to our code or our plugin code, and in this code, because we've already got our action, we don't need to create a new action. All we need to do is create a new WordPress function in this function. So let's create one here. So it's add submenu page. And do remember, the first parameter that we need to enter must be the parent slug. So if we look here, the fourth value here, so the first value must be the fourth value in the main menu page. Then we need to do the page title. So let's say just lesson 3 submenu. Next one should be the text that will be displayed in the menu. So let's just say submenu. Here again, we need the capabilities. So let's add the capabilities, which is manage option. Then we need to add our slug. So again, this is the unique identifier. So let's say lesson 3 submenu page. And now we need the function. So let's add the function, and let's just call it the second page. So we've completed our WordPress function, and now we need to create the code that we will display on our second page. So our function that we've named is second page, so this function needs to be called second page. And now we can display something simple for now. Let's display goodbye world, just like the example. Okay, and there we have it. So if we save it, and let's see if it has worked on our WordPress. So again, we've just added the WordPress function in, and we've created a second function to display or show what we want to be displayed on that page. Okay, so if we look now, I've reloaded the WordPress plugin, and we have our main menu page that we said before, and then we have this sub-menu page. If you click on it, it shows you that the code that we wrote in that function. So there we have it. We have now created the main menu, and we've created a sub-menu. What we're going to go on to now is the last thing, is if we go to plugin, you see that there are options available for us to click. So we are now going to be talking about how to add additional links here. Okay, so adding a setting option is slightly different to adding a menu page. So first of all, I want to make sure that everyone understands very clearly what we're going to be doing here. So in this plugin page on your WordPress, you get a number of different links that you can click on: activate, deactivate, or settings. What we are going to be talking about now is how to add another link onto these. So the most important thing that you need to remember is the hook. So the hook that we're going to be using is the plugin action links. Now, the bit at the end, this means that we actually have to name our plugin. So we have to edit this hook slightly because we don't want other plugins links. We only want ours. Now, as you can see, it's not just one link, it's multiple. So this hook will return information to us, and then what we want to do, it will return an array, and this array will contain all the links. So it could be, the first one could be activate, the second one could be deactivate. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a new value to that array, and that value could be settings, or it could be something of your choice. So before we start and look at the code, what I would like you to do is think about this first. When we're using this, because we still have to attach our code to that hook, are we going to be using an action to attach that code, or are we going to be using a filter, and why? So pause the video and see if you can answer that question. Hopefully you've given it a go. In this, or for this one, we're going to be using a filter because we're going to be taking information from WordPress, and we're going to be manipulating something about that information and then sending it back for it to be processed and for the website to create it. So let's have a go and see what we need to do. Okay, so let's try and add the links into our admin plugin. So we go back to our plugin code, and we need to first add the filter. So we have the filter. Now the first thing that we need to add is the hook. Now we need to, the hook that we need to add in is that plugin action links. So we've got the plugin action links hook, but we also need to add our plugin name. So a good way to get the plugin name is to find out the plugin base name. So you can get WordPress to find out what the plugin base name is by using this plugin base name file. So this will find out the name of your plugin. Now the second parameter that we need to add is we need to add the function that we're going to call when we add this filter. So let's put this as action lists. Okay, so let's close that up. So we've got our filter, and our filter has our hook, and our hook has the plugin name, or our plugin name, as well as the callable function. Now we need to create our function. So let's say function action list. So do remember that now in a filter we get a value from WordPress. So let's call this value links. So remember, we get our array, and this array has a number of links. So what we want to do is we first want to create a new link so we can add that onto our an array. So let's put new links or new link, and for us to add this we need to find out the address of where we want to go when we click on that link. So for example, if we want to go to the main menu page, we copy the link from the main menu page, and then we can put it into there. So this needs to be in HTML, so we need a hyperlink code, a hyperlink address, and then the options is what is written on that menu bar. So what happens is we are going to then upload this new link into our array. So now we need to attach this new value, this variable, onto our array, and we can use that by using array push. So we have an array push there, and the array push, you need two values. The first value is the array, so the first value is the links, and the second value is the variable that you're going to append onto that array. So that is new link. So now what we've done is we've attached that new link onto the array, and now we need to return that array back to WordPress. So let's press return, and we're going to return all the links. And there we have it. So that should just return the links, and that now should have that menu bar in the admin setting options. So let's have a look. Okay, so if we go back to our WordPress and we go onto the dashboard and we look at our plugins, we can now see that our plugin has an extra link in the admin links. So if we click on it, it takes it to that address that we posted. So you can change where this link sends you by changing this address. If you change this address here, it will change where that link sends you. Okay, so now that we've made code to add a menu page, a submenu page, and adding a link to the plugin links, here are some concept checking questions that you can answer to see how well you remember the knowledge from this video. So try and answer all the questions, and then we'll work through them together. So hopefully you've answered all the questions. So now let's work our way through. Okay, so hopefully you've stopped the video, and let's go through the answers together. So to add a main menu page, we need to use an action. We use a filter to add the an extra link on that plugin links in the main plugin menu. What is the first value on that add submenu page function? Well, it's the parent slug, so we have to match up our submenu with our main menu. So the first value needs to be the unique value that we have assigned the main menu page. Why do you need to add a callable function? Well, the function allows us to write the code that will be displayed on the page. So in that function, we write what we want to be displayed on that new menu page. And the last one, what is the hook that we use to add a new link to our plugin links? And that is the plugin action links. And do remember that you have to add your own plugin name. And a good way of doing that is to add the plugin base name and using this code to automatically find out what the correct name is. Okay, so we've come to the end of the video, so thank you very much for listening. Hopefully we have been able to create a simple admin menu for a simple plugin. So this includes the main menu, a submenu, and an additional link in our plugin links. We have accomplished this by understanding some new WordPress functions. So this is add menu page and add submenu page. By using both arrays and variables. So an array is multiple values and a variable is a single value. So in our filter, when we used that add filter function to add our links, we got an array back and we had to add a value onto an array by using the array push. And understanding the role that capabilities play. So I hope we understand that sometimes we have to grant a WordPress function the ability to do something in WordPress. Otherwise, it won't be able to do it. Feedback. Would you like more information about the different capabilities, what they are, and the roles they play? Do you think we accomplished all of our objectives? Do I need some more examples? And is there any way I can improve these videos? So if you would like to give any feedback, leave them on the comment section below. So thank you very much and goodbye, everyone.